1957, a screen door slams in a small town in southern Michigan. 7:40 on a Saturday morning in July. A boy, 10 years old, walks out of that door with a peanut butter sandwich wrapped in wax paper and a pocket knife in his jeans. His mother does not ask where he's going. He does not tell her. There is no phone in his pocket because there is no such thing. There is no way, none, for anyone to reach him for the next 11 hours. He is gone until dark. He crosses two roads. He walks a mile and a half of railroad track. He swims in a quarry no adult has ever inspected. He climbs a tree taller than his house. He builds a fire. He handles a knife. He settles an argument with another boy using his fists, and then they go back to being friends by noon. At 8:15 that night, the screen door slams again. He's filthy. He's got a cut on his shin nobody will hear about. He eats dinner and goes to bed. Nobody worried, nobody called anyone. Nothing happened. That boy had more freedom at 10 years old than most 22-year-olds have today. And here's the part we don't want to say out loud. Nobody took it from him. We did. Not a government, not a law, not some faceless force. Parents, us. We took it away, one reasonable, loving, terrified decision at a time, and we thought we were protecting them. These are 15 freedoms every 1950s boy had that we have taken from our sons. Number one is the one that made all the others possible, and it's the one we destroyed first. Subscribe before we start. Counting down from 15. Number 15, the freedom to disappear all day. A 1950s boy left the house after breakfast and came home when the street lights came on. That was the whole rule. That was the entire supervision plan. His parents did not know where he was, not vaguely at all. He could be a mile away or 5, in a field, a creek, a barn, a junkyard. Nobody knew and nobody needed to. The modern boy cannot walk to the end of the street without a location. Ping. His parents watch a blue dot move across a map in real time and feel a spike of panic when it stops moving for 6 minutes. And that dot is not for him. It is for us. We did not give him a tracker because he needed one. We gave him a tracker because we could not stand the not knowing, and we called our own anxiety safety and made him carry it. He pays for our fear with his freedom every single day. Number 14, the freedom to get hurt. A boy in the 1950s fell out of trees. He wrecked his bike. He came home with stitches, a broken arm, a scar he'd keep for 60 years. His parents patched him up and sent him back out. The modern boy is padded, helmeted, spotted, and supervised. The playground has rubber under it. The tree is off limits. The bike stays on the sidewalk. And here's what we don't understand. The scrapes were the lesson. A boy who has fallen out of a tree has personally learned what a branch can hold. He calibrated his own risk with his own body, and now he knows. The modern boy has never been allowed to test a limit, so he has no idea where any limit is. We didn't make him safer. We made him unable to judge danger and then handed him a car at 16. Number 13, the freedom to carry a knife. A 1950s boy had a pocket knife by 8 in his pocket, at home, at the creek, and yes, at school. He used it constantly, whittling, cutting rope, opening things, making things. And a boy who carried a real blade every day learned quickly and permanently how to handle a dangerous thing carefully. Today, that same knife would get him expelled and possibly arrested. The knife was never really a knife. It was trust, a piece of steel that said, "We believe you can handle something that could hurt you." He carried that trust around in his pocket, and it made him careful and it made him proud. We took the knife because we stopped trusting boys, and a boy who is never trusted with anything dangerous never learns to be trustworthy with anything at all. Number 12, the freedom to settle his own fights. Two boys in the 1950s had a problem. They went behind the school and they settled it, and it was over. No suspension, no mediation, no parent phone call, no incident report, no counselor. They had a scuffle, one of them won, and by the next week, they were often friends. The modern boy is not allowed to resolve a single conflict himself. Everything escalates to an adult, a teacher, a principal, a parent group chat. And so he never develops the thing the fight was secretly building, the ability to face another person, feel afraid, and stand his ground anyway. He learns instead that the correct response to conflict is to find an authority and report it. We removed every fight. We also removed every chance he had to learn courage. Then we called him fragile. Number 11, the freedom to be bored. A 1950s boy had entire empty afternoons with nothing in them. No activities, no screens, nothing. And out of that emptiness came everything. Forts, games with invented rules, a whole imaginary world built out of a vacant lot and a stick. The modern boy is never bored for 4 consecutive minutes. Every gap in his day is filled with a screen, a scheduled activity, an enrichment class. We were terrified of his boredom. We treated it as a problem to be solved rather than the empty space where a personality grows. And now he cannot sit alone with his own mind for 5 minutes without reaching for a device. He never built an inner world because we never once left him alone long enough to start one. We filled every silence, and the silence was where he was supposed to become himself. Number 10, the freedom to work and earn. A 1950s boy had a paper route. At 11, he mowed lawns, bagged groceries, shoveled walks. He earned real money and it was his. He walked into a store with dollars he had earned with his own hands and bought something he had chosen. He knew exactly what a dollar cost because he knew exactly what it took to get one. The modern boy is handed money. He earns nothing. Child labor rules, liability fears, and our own reluctance to let him do anything hard have made a working 11-year-old nearly extinct, and the money was never the point. The earning was. A boy who has traded his own sweat for his own dollar has learned in his body the entire relationship between effort and reward, the single most important economic lesson a human being can have. We gave him an allowance. He learned money comes from asking. Number 9, the freedom to roam without a phone. The 1950s boy was, for hours at a time, completely unreachable. That wasn't a bug. It was the whole condition of his childhood. Nobody could interrupt him. Nobody could check on him. He was alone with himself and his friends and whatever happened next. The modern boy is never unreachable. Not once, not ever. There is a device in his pocket that lets us into his life at any second, and it lets everyone else in too. And we handed it to him for our own peace of mind and told ourselves it was for his safety. But it also handed him to the entire world. Every stranger, every algorithm, every cruel comment at 2 a.m. We took away the freedom of being unreachable, and in its place we gave him a device that made him reachable by everyone. That trade was not safety. We should be honest about that. 7 in. Notice what every one of these has in common. Not one of them was taken by a stranger or a criminal or a government. Every single one was taken by a parent who loved him and was afraid. Hold that thought. 7 to go. Number 8. The freedom to walk to school alone. In 1957, a 6-year-old walked to school by himself or with other kids, half a mile across streets in the rain. He did it every day, and it was so unremarkable that nobody would have thought to mention it. The modern boy is driven to a door and handed off to an adult. In some places, a parent who lets a 9-year-old walk alone can have the authorities called on them. And that walk was doing enormous work. 20 minutes, twice a day, of a boy navigating the world under his own power, making decisions, crossing streets, managing his own time. It was a daily rehearsal for independence. We put him in the back seat. Then we wondered why, at 18, he couldn't navigate a bus schedule or a phone call to a doctor's office. Number 7. The freedom to fail without rescue. A 1950s boy failed, and nobody swooped in. He forgot his homework and took the 0. He lost the game. He got fired from his paper route for being late. His father did not call the teacher, the coach, or the boss. The modern parent intervenes in everything, emails the teacher about the grade, complains to the coach about the playing time, calls the professor, and in a growing number of cases, calls the employer. And every rescue steals the same thing: the chance to learn that his choices have weight. A boy who is never allowed to hit the ground never learns that the ground is real. We could not bear to watch him fail. So we made a young man who has never failed and is therefore terrified of it and quits the second anything gets hard. Number 6. The freedom to use real tools and real fire. A 1950s boy handled an axe, a saw, a drill, and matches, often before he was 10. He built things that mattered. He lit fires in the woods and put them out. He was trusted with objects that could genuinely hurt him, because trusting him was how he learned not to be hurt. The modern boy touches none of it. Power tools are for adults. Fire is forbidden. His hands have built nothing, and so he arrives at 25, unable to fix a leaking tap, hang a shelf, or build the simplest thing, not because he is incapable, but because nobody ever put a real tool in his hand and let him find out. We took the tools away to protect his fingers. We cost him his competence. Number 5. The freedom to be alone with other boys. The 1950s boy spent enormous hours in a pack of boys with no adult anywhere near them. They made their own rules, chose their own leaders, sorted out their own hierarchy, and enforced their own justice. It was rough, and it was where boys learned how to be around other men. The modern boy's every interaction is supervised, refereed, and adult-mediated. There is always a grown-up watching, and so he never learns to negotiate with his peers, never learns where he stands, never learns to lead or to follow without an authority telling him which. The self-organizing boy pack, one of the oldest social technologies on earth, has been eliminated. We inserted ourselves into every group he was ever in, and he never learned to be in a group without us. Number 4. The freedom to speak to adults and strangers. A 1950s boy talked to everyone: the shopkeeper, the barber, the mailman, the old man on the porch. He ran errands into town alone and dealt with grown men face to face at 9 years old. The modern boy has been taught, above all, that strangers are dangerous. He is not permitted to interact with unknown adults. He orders through a screen, avoids the counter, and mumbles at anyone over 40. And the cost is a boy who cannot talk to adults at all, who cannot make a phone call, who cannot look a grown man in the eye and ask for what he needs. We armed him against a threat that was always statistically tiny and disarmed him against the world he was actually going to live in. Number 3, the freedom to go where he wasn't supposed to go. A 1950s boy trespassed constantly. Abandoned buildings, construction sites, the far woods, the quarry, the train yard. He wasn't supposed to be there, and he went anyway. And that was a normal part of being 10. The modern boy has nowhere to go that isn't designed, fenced, approved, and surveilled. Every space is either forbidden or curated, and what he lost was the frontier, the chance to explore an environment that no adult had prepared for him, to find something on his own, to feel the specific thrill of being somewhere he chose to be, on his own nerve. We fenced the entire world. Then we handed him a screen and wondered why he stopped going outside. There was nowhere left to go. Number 2, the freedom to be unsupervised with risk. Add up the last 14 and you land here. A 1950s boy was allowed to be alone with danger, not one or the other. Both. He was alone at the quarry, alone with the knife, alone with the fire, the tree, the fight, the road. That combination, no adult, real stakes, is the single most powerful teaching machine ever built for a boy. Because when nobody is watching and the danger is real, he has to be the one who decides. He has to judge. He has to be careful. He has to be responsible right now, or something actually bad happens. That is where judgment is forged, not in a lecture, not in a supervised activity. In the 10 seconds a 10-year-old stands at the edge of a quarry and has to decide, entirely alone, whether he can make the jump. We have removed that moment from boyhood completely. Every risk is now either forbidden or supervised. And a boy who is never alone with a real consequence never develops the internal judge. So we're now handing car keys and credit cards and adult freedom to 20-year-olds who have never once had to make a real decision by themselves. Number 1, the freedom to be trusted. Here is the one underneath all the others, the one that made every single freedom on this list possible. The 1950s boy was trusted. That was the whole foundation. His parents believed, genuinely by default, that he was competent, that he could handle a knife, that he could cross a road, that he could be gone all day and come home, that he could work, fight, roam, fail, and figure it out. They were not trusting him because he had proven it. They trusted him first, and he became worthy of it because they trusted him. That's the direction it runs. Trust comes first, competence follows, and we reversed it. We decided our sons must prove they are competent before we will trust them with anything, and then we never give them a single opportunity to prove it. He must earn our trust in a world where we have removed every chance to earn it. That's the trap. That's the whole thing. We built a childhood with no proving ground, and then we blamed the boy for being unproven. We didn't take 15 freedoms from our sons. We took one. We stopped believing they could handle things. And every one of these 15 fell out of that single loss of faith. The 1950s parents weren't braver than us. They weren't better. They just believed, without thinking about it, that their boy was capable of more than he had yet shown. And it turns out a boy will usually rise to exactly the level you believe he can reach and stop dead at the ceiling you built for him. We built him a very low ceiling, and then we called him soft for not going higher. 15 freedoms, the whole day gone. The knife, the fight, the fire, the tree, the empty afternoon, the paper route, the walk to school, the quarry, the pack of boys, the right to fail, the right to get hurt, the right to be trusted, every one of them gone, and not one of them was taken by a stranger, a criminal, or a law. We took them. Parents, us, every one of them, removed by someone who loved that boy and was afraid. And every one of those decisions felt responsible, felt loving, felt like exactly what a good parent does.